Welcome, race fans, to another edition of the OCRL Race Report. I'm your host, Jeff Baki Jr., alongside my broadcast colleagues, Scott Ickes and Jason Gaines. How you guys doing this evening?
They're good.
Yep, doing good.
And Jason, you got a reason to be doing really good. Last night in the Nationwide Series, Tuesday night, you locked up the Nationwide Series championship at a very quick level. You made your debut in the OCRL last season, and then you come back the season later and have a very strong run. A lot of wins, a lot of pole starts, a lot of laps led. I mean, you guys really stuck with it all season long. Just from Daytona, talk about your championship tenure.
It was, I don't want to say a roller coaster ride because we didn't really have that many downs. We were fortunate enough to stay up front most each week, and it's what you got to do. You got to put up wins and poles and most laps led, and if you're going to win a championship in this league, you got to be at your pinnacle. And I'm glad to say we did that this year, and we fought hard and came out on top, and I couldn't be more proud of us.
And there were a couple of races this season that you weren't really confident in, and me being your team owner, I know that there was two that we were really focusing on, and that was Richmond and Phoenix. And you walk out of Richmond with a victory on strategy, and Phoenix, you put together a really well-balanced race to walk out of there with a top three. Those are two races, and after Richmond, to do what you did with the car that you had, people said, that right there is a championship driver. What does it mean to have the respect from the guys that you race with on track to be able to tell you that?
It means everything. I mean, coming into the league, it was, just trying to place myself among all these elite drivers and earn some respect and just more or less stay out of the way, which is what I think a rookie coming into any league should do. And, I knew once I earned respect on the track of what I was going to do, and I wasn't going to race them dirty, that, I would eventually respect from them. And now that I've earned that, I feel like I've made my place in this league and look to back this year up with another championship run, hopefully in the near future, and just show everybody it wasn't a hoax.
Now let's talk silly season, because it's probably the most popular topic that we had. Our last episode was based on the changes from next season as well. But for the Sprint Cup Series season, today the rumor mill lit up about King Crossover Motorsports, and in the studio this evening we have Corey Bunch. How you doing this evening, Corey?
I'm doing pretty good.
You were a big topic in our mill today about not being a part of the team next year. Our reporters got a hold of Scott. We got down to the bottom of it. And just to clarify, Scott, you being the team owner, do you want to release an official statement on the race report about Corey's status next season?
Not at the moment. We're the guys, my accountants, and they're talking to Corey's people, and at the end of the season, he didn't have a contract for the Cup season. I mean, we verbally talked about it, but we're still trying to get all the finances worked out and whatnot, so that we can both be on good terms and have a good season.
And Corey, when you saw this information, you didn't know anything of it, and your expressions, first off, what were your thoughts as the driver of this car?
I didn't really notice anything about it till later tonight, actually, and it was, I don't know, one of my friends, they text me and they're like, "Dude, you're on the news," and I'm just thinking to myself, what the heck for? And I go in there and I read about it, and it's with me and King Crossover Motorsports, and I'm like, well, that's kind of made me speechless just to to just read about that, and it kind of made me worry a little bit, because I figured that me and Scott, we have a pretty good relationship with owner and driver wise, and I didn't really expect for any of this kind of news to pop up or anything like that. But I mean, it's just whatever. I'll leave it up to him. I'm just the driver, so.
And chemistry means everything in this sport, to be able to work well with your teammate, your crew chief, the guys on your team. And it's something that you and Scott have meshed well with, is getting along, getting the right feel in the car. And I'm pretty sure that whatever happens, Scott, you say sponsorship's going to hold you back, and I'm sure that being the driver that Corey is, ladies and gentlemen, anybody listening out there looking for sponsorship, looking to get your number on a ride, Corey had a whale of a season in the Nationwide Series, moved up to third in the standings, in the final standings for that series, and walked out of there with an average finish of 4.4, but in that mix he had 7 top 5s and 2 victories, and just a very strong season for them, for that team. A lot of momentum going into the Sprint Cup Series season, and I'm sure that that's going to have a lot of effort. And whatever happens, I'm sure we'll see both of you guys together in team cars on the track, and that's what's important. And another really big story that hit yesterday was the fact that my current teammate Jesus Andrade would not be re-signing, and there's a lot of I guess you could say questioning going on. What's going on my team? We're not quite ready to announce anything, but just to clear the air that Junior Motorsports will be in some sort of existence next season. We will have 2 cars, and it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be. I know that everybody, especially the drivers out there and the fans, they know that the way I do business, I try to make it crazy, but I'll warn you, don't get excited about it. It's just it ain't no big surprises. It is to me, but I'm looking forward to it. And Jason, we're still wondering where you're going to end up next season.
Yeah, that's the same way I feel about it. With Jesus possibly going where he's going to, it kind of threw a mix in my plans, and not to say that he's pushed me out of any situation or decision, but I'm not looking really to be on a 3-car team right now. I don't think. I kind of think in a way that takes away from the chemistry of a team in some sorts. Just trying to find another guy that I can race with and get along with and be able to work on stuff, and we kind of share the same input on stuff is what I'm looking for. So I'm still looking right now. I'm pretty close on making a deal, but it's something we'll release in a few days if we do come to a conclusion on it.
And you told me off the record before the show that we were talking about the contract terms and everything, and you said, Jeff, wherever I end up, it's going to be long term. You want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, I don't like the going through team offers here and there and signing for a year or even 2 years. I'm too old for that. I mean, I'm not going to be doing this much longer. I mean, that's no other way. I ain't going to be around the bush about it. Wherever I do sign next is probably going to be either lifetime or at least until my career's up. I don't see myself doing anything else after this.
Well, wherever you end up, I've said it before that team is going to be inheriting a great driver Nationwide Series championship. You didn't get I guess you could say the press attention that you probably would have liked after the Nationwide Series race, but again, congratulations, and everybody here at Junior Motorsports is proud of you. You made a lot of fans happy, and you're respected as a driver, as a champion, and you've joined an elite group of drivers, and you did it hands down. There wasn't nothing giving it to you. I gave you the run. You beat the best of the best in the series, and that's what you do. So when you can do that, you're a hell of a driver. So congratulations again on that.
Thank you.
In other news, Austin Painter and Painter Haas Racing has announced that they're still looking for a driver in the number 39 Tornadoes U.S. Army Chevrolet, and I've talked to a particular driver. I don't want to give anything away in case that team does decide to do something, but a driver that hasn't been around the league in a while. I've talked to him, and he's pretty adamant about joining that team. Him and Austin are going to talk, as far as I know, later in the week to try to get something out, and that's something else. And Joe Gibbs Racing, O'Toole Motorsports, in other words, has the number 20 that they're still looking for a driver. So that's a Chevy team and a Toyota team. If anybody out there is looking for a ride, especially some of the rookies that are coming into the league, talk to those guys, 2 established teams that can bring anybody great opportunity. And speaking of, we're talking about the Cup Series season, there's one thing that I'm sure we can all elaborate on, but when's this patch going to come out for the new game that we're racing on? We hear at the end of the week there's a lot going on. Scott, you've been following the topic a little bit more closely, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it a little more. Me and Jesus Andrade have been talking a lot about it, and hopefully the patch comes out here soon. Really want to get racing on that new Cup game and the new cars and new setups. It's going to be really fun, and it's going to be nice to finally get into. I'm not saying that the Nationwide Series or Truck Series isn't special, but the Cup Series definitely is a big thing.
Yeah, there's a lot more rewards for winning a Sprint Cup Series race compared to the lower series, and not taking anything away at all from those series, but there's just a lot. Each series that you go up and you rank, I mean, the Sprint Cup Series is the top of the top and the best of the best, and when it's just a different feel when you're racing that. It's a lot more serious, and for the hardcore racers in this league, it's a lot more fun, and it just gives you something to go for, and I'm really excited. There's OCRL 2.0 is on the verge of being launched, and I do have a copy of the new rulebook, and there's a lot of good stuff in here. Just going through looking at it, but definitely a lot of good changes. I'm excited to read the rulebook when it's announced. On here, we're going to have a special edition race report to go over the rulebook, just so everybody gets an idea. A lot of people out there that are too lazy, including myself, that don't want to read the rulebook, so in a sense, you're going to have it on audio to have us talk to you about. And Corey, you've been a part of the league for a while, and just be able to see the rules evolve. What do you expect to see in the rulebook when it is released?
Well, I'm not really expecting. I mean, also, I'm not really expecting much change to it. It's just I remember someone they're talking about going back to racing like it was in the ECRL days, and that was something that I enjoyed back then. Back then when I was starting up and everything. But I mean, it's just I really don't see how it's gonna make for better racing. But if it's what it's promoted, then I mean, sure it can have at it. But I don't really expect much out of it, basically because I've not really, let's say, not cared much for it. so I mean, it'll probably get to once it gets announced, and when it actually gets released, and we'll be able to see what potential it has and what can it do for the seasons to come.
I think a lot of people that are excited about it is just that new admin panel. I think all leagues go through that, and I think getting some new people up in there, they're going to be really excited about.
Yeah, that's another point that I'm excited about personally, being a part of that admin panel and having new people to work with, a lot of good feedback coming in. We've had our first meeting, and it was very successful last week, and we got a lot accomplished, and I'm really confident. I chose the admins, and then the three of us chose our advisors, and I feel like it's a really good mix of gentlemen, and it's gonna be great. I mean, if you wanted, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. We've been far from fair on some cases, and with this new admin panel, I don't see anything going without being recognized or anything unfair going on. It's a lot of good stuff is going to happen for this league, and if you're a part of it now, then it's just going to get better. And we've had some high points this season as well as some very low points, but it's just going to get better from here on out. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's just the biggest question, as I'd mentioned, is the patch. It's got to be hit the nail right on the head. We got to have good connections. We can't have any issues, and if anything's going to hold us back, that's what it's going to be. But that's out of our control. There's not much we can really do from that standpoint. But before we get to that, we still have 2 more races left on the current game that we're racing on. The Canon Pro Series is Thursday night. They're going to hit their finale with Las Vegas. Very close points battle between, I believe it's Eric Mickey and Jesus Andrade, and Jesus has the upper hand going into Las Vegas, but Eric's just 6 points behind. I'm personally going to be a part of the race just to we have the money, we have the time, and we're going to go down there and just race for fun and watch my teammate get a championship or try to get a championship. And Eric ain't too far back, and Stevie's even in the hunt and has a chance himself. But it's going to be a long shot, and I'm looking forward to the race myself. Any of you guys going to be a part of that tomorrow?
No.
I'm actually going to show up just because it's the final race in each series. You know, from what we know is going to be quite a long time. So I'm going to take part in everything I can until next season starts up. But yeah, it's going to be fun just to be there to watch the battle between them two for the championship in that series. I mean, I definitely want to be there, but we tested a little bit last week as far as that track, because I don't think that we've ever been there in the nationwide car, or the old nationwide cars, which are now the KNP. But so we didn't know what a good time was and didn't know exactly what to expect. So I think everybody's going to show up with a lot of unknowns as far as what the other drivers are going to bring to the track too. It'll be exciting.
I might be there. I'm not sure, but if I am, I'll definitely have the race broadcasted, and you guys can watch it live and see who's going to win this championship battle.
And Sunday night in the Camping World Truck Series, Jesus has locked it up already. There's not too much excitement there, but Sunday night they're in action in Homestead. Their final race for what could be a very long time, or in ever. We don't know if there ever is going to be another platform for the PlayStation 3 that's going to allow us to run the Truck Series. So I'm sure we're going to have pretty good attendance at that, and we're going to try to make it one hell of a race. If you don't have anything going on next Sunday night, come on out and join us. The Trucks always put on a great show. Anybody in this room can vouch for that. And looking forward to rounding out the season, and hopefully we can get the Sprint Cup Series rolling and have another battle with that. And a lot of good things coming. I'm excited for this OCRL 2.0. You guys have any final thoughts?
Just other than if you aren't a driver or you're not a fan yet, you better join us, because it's going to be really fun the next couple of years. I expect to have a lot of fun races, a lot of drivers I don't expect to be good, and hopefully a lot of different champions.
And Jason, you started saying something?
I was just going to say I think we've about covered everything I can think of. So
I think we've about covered everything that I've thought of too. And Corey, thanks again for coming out this evening and joining us on the Race Report. It's a pleasure having you.
Oh yeah, no problem. And I have run out of donuts, so.
That means time's up. On behalf of everyone here on the SR Race Report, I'm Jeff Baki Jr.
I'm Scott Ickes.
I'm Jason Gaines.